The name is Subject 13, music producer, based in London. Been writing music for the last 30 odd years. You know, I've made my name in drum and bass, obviously, but next year I'm really going to display diving into different genres of music electronically, really. We're in the heart of East London. We're in Shoreditch, where I was born and bred. You know, it's become a trendy place the last 10 years, but there's a lot of talent coming out of these areas, and I'm one of those as well, where I've always pursued what I believe in. You know, I've always had a passion for music, and I'm a very stubborn, strong-headed person, and was determined to make my life in music and be able to live from music and do what I truly believe from my heart. And like I said, I'm quite a fixated, you know, kind of like person, and I was fully determined to make it in what I wanted to do. Yeah, I was always a kid growing up who was fascinated, overtly fascinated by music. The rest of my mates would be out kicking football and, you know, going up the West End. But me, I took all my money and spent it on buying records. And to the point that one of my ex-girlfriends, she knew that music was a passion of mine. She bought me a pair of turntables for my birthday. And, you know, with all the records I've been sort of like buying, you know, it was really just opened me up. So there was a local recording studio around the corner called IMW, Islington Music Workshop. So I took my records around there, sat down with an engineer, and we worked on some ideas. And at the end of the session, the engineer thought this is really a good idea. And he said, could I take it to record label Vinyl Solution up in Portobello Road? And so took it up there, and then a week later they got in contact with me and said, we want to sign you, we want to put this out. And that was it. I was just, you know, thrown into the industry, and never looked back since. And that was 1990, a record called Eternity. We sold over 25,000 copies. Oh man, we got so much lined up for Vibez. Let me just go through a little bit of history. Back in 1995, I was working for Fabio's label, LTJ Bookham's label, making tracks for them, and it was all going great. But I had so much music, I decided to open my own imprint in 1995. I had the likes of Paradox, Seba, Blue Martin, a lot of the big cats come to me, and we would release stuff on Vibez as well. So the history of Vibez goes back a long way. But along the way where I got signed and stuff, I didn't really have time to really put what I wanted into it. So it had to take a backseat for a long time. Life takes over a little bit, and it was dormant for a good amount of years. But you know, the last 2 years I've been working in the background tirelessly to bring back Vibez, and we're at that stage now. We're putting on the events. We've got the launch party coming up as well. It's just nice to have my imprint coming out as well, because it's nice to work for other labels, but I'm trying to get a real sound out of not just myself, out of some great old school artists and some brand new, fresh, young artists what have never really had any releases been out before. So I'm making sure that it's going to be a real mixture of new and old, young and old as well, which is going to represent a new sound coming forward. I've got a new Subject 13 album coming out on R&S. It's a real diverse mixed bag of music. It's got dancehall, reggae, dub, jazz, fusion, acid jazz, drum and bass. It's a real mixed bag. It's me just displaying my love and diversity just for great electronical music. Wow, best venue, it's got to be, it's quite easy if I'll be honest, man. I played in Japan in about 1996, and just really, it freaked me out so much. I was overtly nervous, and it got to me because I'd never seen such a futuristic looking club before, and it was absolutely packed. I was there with Fabio Groove Rider, and we was doing a tour because I'd done an exclusive album for Sony Japan, And yeah, it was amazing. Just an amazing club in Tokyo, Japan. Oh God, Liquid Rooms? I think. Yeah, it could have been Liquid Rooms. Long time ago, so don't quote me on that. Wow, that's a big question, man. Listen, I've got to go with drum and bass, right? Because that is really where I'm coming from. But I'm a big lover of hip hop. I'm working with quite a few American rappers at the moment as well. So I've got an in-depth knowledge of rap music, especially American rap music, and been linking up with some American guys for quite some time now. So I would say, yeah, I'd have to put drum and bass first, followed by hip hop for sure. Yeah, definitely. I don't know if you can see the picture up in the top there. My favourite artist of all time, a guy called Miles Davis, the world's greatest trumpeter, a real character, charismatic, you know, and just a real character, but probably the world's greatest, in my eyes, greatest musician. You know, he's a guy who's inspired me, even though, you know, we're from totally different times and genres, but he's a big inspiration to me. I love his music. Had Miles Davis been alive now, he would have been working with all the young guys, just making absolutely crazy music, because that's what he was like. And in his heyday, a lot of people didn't understand him because he would work with the youngsters because he was so forward thinking. And I'm just the same as well. I'm just the same. I embrace the young artists coming up, young photographers, filmmakers. I'm all about giving the youth opportunity because I was once them as well. And people who believed in me gave me opportunity. So now I'm experienced and, you know, one of the older heads, I do exactly the same, man. Biggest Mr. Miles Davis, absolutely. Probably followed by Bob Marley as well, because I think Bob was just a champion for, you know, believing in yourself, a champion for, you know, human rights as well. Just a good-hearted person. I like to align myself with that as well. And I think his music was so, you know, it just touched such a wide audience, and it was so pure. It was so pure. And the message was real, and the music was just amazing. I guess I do. But I don't. Sometimes I can start off with a drum pattern. Sometimes I can lay down a synthesized chord pattern, or sometimes I'll just go off a hi-hat. So I've got processes, but they vary and change from time to time. I try to be a little bit unique in the way I record music, and in all honesty, I take a quote from Einstein. He said, if you show everybody what you're doing, you lose your individuality. So what I'm going to say is I think what people need to do is go through various different elements of hardware or software, really find what works for you. Spend a lot of time. Don't make music to put it out. Spend 3 months just going through stuff and find out what really suits your writing capability, what feeds your creativity, what really makes you produce a lot more rapidly than you would normally. I found that a long time ago, and I circulate around those things, and without being a party pooper, I keep those bits a little bit close to my chest. Wow, damn. Favourite, my real, God, what one do I like? I'm gonna say I made a track called Future. It featured a live bass by Lee Rogers at the time. I didn't hear too many live basses going on in jungle drum and bass, and I knew a friend of mine called Lee Rogers, great bass player. I said, Lee, let's sit down, write a track together. So I put down these strings, laid down the beat, and put the arrangement together. Lee came in, dropped a live bass on it, and yeah, smashed it. I'll be doing a remix of that for Vibez next year, but a friend of mine sent me a video from XOY about 3 months ago where Goldie had dropped Future at their classic, like kind of classic metalheads night. And big respects to Goldie for dropping that, you know, because it's my all-time favourite tune. Listen, you've got to believe in yourself, man. Number one, you've got to really believe in yourself. Don't be deterred or put down by people being negative towards you. You've got to have real thick skin, and just, if it's your real belief and passion, then you've got to put 200% into it and do not let up at all. You know, you're going to have bumps and bruises along the way. Things are going to try and deter you. Life is going to come in and try and, you know, put a real block on what you want to do creatively. But if you really believe in your passion, you'll pursue it with 100% vigour. My favourite cheese, mature English cheddar. Yeah, I bought some today. Favourite boy band or girl band? Yeah, I have. You may not know it because you are quite young. Bananarama, Pepsi. No, I'm definitely not for the majority in life. I like the minority. I think anything of great importance musically or from a social point of view has always come from the minority. Try to avoid them, but Kentucky Fried Chicken. Wow. Been to a lot. Wow. I'd say Moscow. I just found Moscow very different, lots to see, and just had a different perspective on life. Nike, that's terrible. I've got Adidas on. That's really bad. A TV show. I like, there's a series at the moment with Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine. I can't remember what it's called again, but it's talking about the career of Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre. Really fascinating just to see other fellow producers, how they came up, the hardship, and how they came together to create Interscope Records, and how, especially Dre coming from Death Row and NWA, his journey was just fascinating. So yeah, I guess that's, can't remember the name of the documentary, but that's a favourite of mine for sure. Wow. In all honesty, I would have liked to have been maybe a lawyer. Representing those who are, you know, in difficult positions, in underprivileged situations. Who would I like to see in the chair next? Look, if you guys can get to him, it'd be really good. I think you'd have a real field day enjoyment with Goldie. I know Goldie, we're not, I wouldn't say I know him like bosom pals, but, you know, being in the scene, yeah, we definitely know of each other. But just an amazing character, and if it wasn't for someone like Goldie, to be honest, we wouldn't have the hype on the scene which we've had. So you've got to give him his props, man. He's certainly, he just carries the enthusiasm from day one till day now.